Hey folks, and welcome to the Pipnotic Symposium for the 11th of August 2018. Today we are going to talk about a few things. First of all, I'm going to run through some of those levels that we looked at one of the previous symposiums, and I'm going to run through some of the other software that we have at Pipnotic. I know most people are using the supply and demand as their primary tool. Others are using currency strength, but we also have some others which are pretty useful. And I'm going to run through these just to make you all aware of what else there is in our arsenal of goodies. And then we're going to have a look at some more levels, I think. No, actually we're not. We're going to look at setup. So we're going to find we'll look at live markets, find some charts that are setting up nicely. We're going to look at entries, take profits, and stop losses, because this can be very tricky to identify. And this was a request by Pippa in the chat room, so we'll have a look at those. Okay, first of all, we're going to have a look at some of those levels. We talked about, we're looking at the dollar yen. I'm just doing this because on this template I have the one time frame. This is the one I was using when I did the last one. I think it was a couple of symposiums ago, and the lines are still on here, so I thought we'd just go through these super quickly. But we're looking at areas of supply and demand that might be interesting on the dollar yen. And we have this one up here, which is beautiful. We have this one here, which is okay. We have kind of the parent, the child, this one here, which tested it, and the release happened from there. We have this one here, and then price entered. We go up to the 4-hour chart. We entered this this big daily area, which had been tested once before, and so we're expecting price to kind of have a bit of a reaction down here. What we were looking at was this one here, how price left quickly, and then we drill down to the very small time frames. So we're going to go back to the small time frames. I'm just going to have a look and see what that is. I think this is the 1 minute time frame, and so we could see that, I mean, price poked into this daily area. We went higher. We retested roughly the area. We came back. We had a pullback, and then price released very nicely. And we saw this as being an area that looked interesting to us. This is a 15-minute area of demand. Let's have a look here. So we saw this as being an okay area. We have, mediocre area. We have this area just here, which is kind of a pullback into this 4-hour area. This becomes the child. The child was tested. And then we're looking at this little wick here, and I said that we should go down to the smaller time frames, and we went all the way down to the 1 minute, and we'll do that very quickly in order to find this little one here. You can see that it looks like this. So very nice pullback, accumulation for 1 minute, and then price left. So this is a really nice area to start accumulating long positions on the shorter time frame. This is the 1 minute chart, so this stuff does not go on. We don't set daily trends, not necessarily. So we talked about that, and price did come back to that area. There was some news out of I think it was the US, and price poked back into that area, and this is where we saw a nice release. So this is really a really nice reaction. We went through it, and then price found a liquidity that was needed to hold price. We'll go back and see where that went, and that was here, just at the top here. So price kind of pushed higher. We popped up, we tested. This is kind of pointing to the edge of the buy zone. Then price went up, and this is where price kind of left from. So a super interesting little push there. And of course, I think, as far as I remember, we started on the weekly chart and went down from there. And so, I mean, a lot of people are super keen on trading short term because then there's going to be more action. But yes, and that's fine. And if you gravitate towards the smaller time frames and you like more action, then the small time frames are certainly going to give you this. But I did this. We had an entry on the 1 minute chart, but at the same time we started our analysis on the weekly chart. And so you have to be mindful of what's going on in these bigger time frames in order for these trades to work out, which is what we did. Okay, good. Let's go to the Euro US. Sorry, before we do that, let's go back up here. I just want to have a look at the levels, the areas of supply that we had above price. So we had marked this one off, so price came down, we accumulated and we left, and price had not been back. I mean, it had been back here to this level, this test here. So price came close to it, we accumulated, then we popped through it, and price went to the high of this area here, we had some divergence at the area looking like that, and then price broke away from there. So this is just a really good example of how price plays throughout these areas. So price came up and moved through it. We started accumulating orders to go short. Breakout traders would have been caught with their trousers down. Price went up, but this does not mean that price is going high. It means that price is looking for liquidity to drive price lower. Why do we know this? Because we are reacting at an area of supply. So we had that divergence going on, which is also a clue. So the histogram would have been going down, price is going higher, and then price moved away from there. But we still haven't reached this one up here, which is okay, and this is a good level, a nice level up here. Good. So we had we had the demand at the bottom, the supply at the top. Good. Let's go to the euro, US dollar. We had this area marked off. This is an hourly area. We have a look. Kind of a funny hourly area. Let's have a look at the 4 hour again. Yeah, an hourly area marked off, and this is because we had, this is probably maybe daily level. Yes, because we had a horizontal trend line like this, and so we had respect for an area here. So we had something in here, some demand in here, micro demand, because we have to go to the, let's go to the hourly chart to have a look at it. Scrolling. Okay, here it is. So from here to here, this is the one. Price tested it, and now it's gone. What does that mean? Well, that means we have to find the area of supply that took out this demand, and it was this one here, which is why we marked off this one. Okay, and if you go to the daily chart, it becomes very clear, because you can see that we had accumulation just above that area, and price has not been back. So this one here, this is gone, and this one is still valid, like so. This one is actually, change the line like that. Okay, so this one is the one that's still to be tested. This is a really nice area. I like that, because this is the one that kind of took out this micro demand that caused market structure to fail. So this is an interesting area for us. Not a terribly nice release, but technically speaking, due to the rules of the consumption of opposing supply and demand, this would be an area that we could consider. And price went all the way down here to this white box, which we marked off, and it looks like magic, doesn't it? How price comes down to the areas, just pokes through them and then goes in the opposite direction, but it's not really, because we're doing the exact same thing. And if we zoom out a little bit, you can see how this one, price came down to the area, so it's telling us that we don't want to be paying a price any cheaper, any more expensive than the low of this pullback. Okay. The spreads probably, so you might want to put the entry just a little bit above, and price came down to this area, and this is where we had a pretty nice bounce. So we had a super small risk, a 35 pip risk, and price went up. And we had more than that. We needed the stop as well. So 2 times this, the size of this, just keeps out of trouble, and price went north very nicely. So we had a pretty nice bounce there, and it's pretty interesting to see how this area has held still, and then price finally broke through it. So now the magic question is, what do you do? Well, now you find the area of supply that took out this demand, which was important because it was tested once. You mark this off. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, blah, blah, blah. Now it's gone. Where is it? It's here. So this is the one that is interesting to us. Like this. Like that. So this is one that's interesting to us. So we expect price to do something once it comes back up here. And if we're more accurate, we would do something like this. We'd just take this pin bar like that. If you wanted to get meticulous, go to the half-an-hour chart, then have a look and see exactly what's going on. And here you can see that we have, when price moved away, you can see pretty clearly that we have the lows here. Okay, test, demand, test, what area of supply did it? or something in here. But this is not a terribly nice one, so what I would probably do is mark off this, like from the high here, or to the close, like that, and up to the high. And the stop would obviously be higher, but we'll mark it off like that. So this is what I'll be looking at here. Go back to the daily chart, have a look. And then you can see it brings us slightly up into that accumulation candle. Good. Okay, enough about those. Let's have a look at some of the other software now that we have.